some questionable off-the-field decisions, have a bit of a brashness to you. And I thought about it, and I was like, okay, you might have a point. And then I hear your ongoing love affair with Tom Brady, and I'm like, oh, that's it. Colin loves Brady because Colin is Brady. He knows what his brand is, always trying to expand it, was once in a cold northeastern city, couldn't wait to get out of there, married a supermodel wife, married a famous artist wife. There's a lot of things that take, if we can continue the analogy, taking a younger, maybe with questionable off-field resume, protege under your wing, trying to help them along. Like, there's a lot of things here where I see Colin Cowherd and Tom Brady, so he can never do wrong in your eyes, because you're looking in a mirror, maybe a slightly better looking mirror, but you're looking in a mirror. And so that's what's happening here.
Well, God, what you really said is you're Baker and I'm Brady, and I'd rather be me, according to your analogies right there. I'll be honest with you.
I mean, for the time being, sure.
Brandon, I think you and I might add a little something to do with that. We got Nick all fired up about Baker and Brady the other day.
That was such a great take. I've never seen Colin like that. You got Colin. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to respond. That was awesome. But we need to add to this take a little bit. Let's add to Nick Wright and why he's so infatuated with Baker Mayfield. Undersized a little bit. Had to always play big.
No.
He's dressed by his wife. That's why he looks so good. His wife dresses him. And then the last thing, sometimes a little too cocky. Let's add to it a little bit. But look, buddy, I love you.
Arrests in college.
I love you, man.
I mean, we could keep this thing going. I mean, it can go on for days, Jenna. That's probably right.
That was such a great take. I loved
nailed it, Jenna. You and Brandon nailed it.
All right. That's why I love you so much, Nick, because you remind me of the player I love so much in Baker. Let's get you ready for week 9 in the NFL.
Jenna Wolf hates us both. It's another great take. We could have kept it going.
I love you, Nick. Love you, Nick. Let's start with this little gem. You got Bucks at 6-2, Saints at 5-2. Drew Brees taking care of business in the first matchup. Brady's got this Bucks team, though, playing awfully well right now. So the Saints, this is great. Saints tweeted out this throwback Thursday picture of a young Brady and a young Brees hamming it up at a Pro Bowl practice. Well, 46 years later, both getting ready for Sunday's football game. Our quarterback, Mike Vick, joining us now. Mike, that was a joke about old people, but I can't be a part of it because I don't understand it. I'll make this simple. Who wins on Sunday, Saints or Bucks?
I got to go with the Bucks. I think the Bucks are ascending in all directions, offensively and defensively. They're getting better each and every week. As you look at it, Antonio Brown is inserted into the lineup. And, the reason why I say the Bucks is because, when you look at the New Orleans Saints right now, they're kind of in a stagnant place. They don't look like they're getting better. They don't look like they're getting worse. I think it's going to ultimately come down to how they defend the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's going to be a tough task for Marshawn Lattimore and Janoris Jenkins having to cover all these different receivers that's going to be coming their way. And they haven't played as well. So if they can step that game up, they're giving themselves a chance at winning the game. If not, I think Brady and the Bucs going to run right through them. So, like I said, Tampa's clicking on all cylinders. New Orleans hasn't really showed me too much. And I think the fact that the Bucs are playing at home gives them the edge as of right now.
Okay. Look, Tampa Bay winning this game is as sure as my hands, right? Made a lot of money off my hands. If I flip this ball and I catch it and it sticks, then it's Tampa by 6, okay? So, but it can't move. It just has to stick. So, Nick, let's see if I can do it. Oh,
okay.
Tampa by 6.
Oh,
Tampa Tom, the best player, the best leader.
Nailed it.
I'll be honest with you. That was pretty good.
All right, that was far more impressive than I expected it to be. I don't know if I agree with the analysis at all, but I really enjoyed watching that. I want to, before you jump in, I just want to throw something back to Brandon real quick. He just reminded us about being a great receiver. And you alluded to something earlier, Brandon, that I think has kind of been underrated in this story, which is the addition of Antonio Brown. That hasn't been underrated. But how long Antonio Brown's been out of football, I think, has. Because people in their mind, they're like, oh, well, the last time he bounced around teams, the moment he got to Tom Brady, he was great. And that's true. But that was a regular timeline for him. And by that, I mean he played the entirety of the previous season with Pittsburgh. Then he went to Oakland, had an odd offseason with them, but still was a part of it. And then by it's September, and he's playing for the Patriots. Since then, he hasn't played at all for anybody. This is the longest he's gone, I would imagine, in his entire life, dating back to when he was playing Pop Warner without playing in a football game. So not the long-term impact of AB, but Brandon, the this week impact of AB, how much of a concern is that layoff for you?
I'm not really concerned about AB. I'll go back, almost 8 years. When I knew this kid was special. Every offseason, I used to invite all the top wide receivers down in South Florida to come train with me. I had Mike Evans, I had AB in this one particular group, and we were going through a drill, and I caught a ball, and I just came off of like 3 back-to-back Pro Bowls. And he said, Brandon, you're catching the ball wrong. And I said, who the hell is this kid talking to me? Like, he's barely had 1,000 yards yet. And I say that because this kid's work ethic and attention to detail in the offseason is second to none. He may be up there with Jerry Rice, how he prepares. He not only takes the field and run sprints and run routes, he has his helmet on. He has his shoulder pads on. You can go on Instagram, follow all your great wide receivers in March, April, and May, and you won't see them with a helmet or their shoulder pads on. As far as condition, as far as being ready to go, he will be ready to go, no doubt in my mind. He just needs to eliminate the distractions moving forward, but he is a baller and he's ready to go.
Okay, before we move on, how are you catching the ball wrong, Brandon? Now you opened up this story and you told me half of it. You say, all right, so what happened? You caught the ball wrong. What were you doing wrong?
Let me show you. So basically, and it's the weirdest thing. I never had a wide receiver or anybody teach me this, but I was just catching the ball and I was just moving on. He said, Brandon, put your nose to the nose of the ball. So that's what he wanted me to do. So I was like, who the hell is this kid? He barely had 1,000 yards, and he's trying to give me advice. But I respected him because he came up to me, the Pro Bowler, putting on his whole camp, and he held me accountable.
Okay, that's also why he's wearing a helmet all the time, too. He gets smashed in the face. So those are two.
Brandon, did you make any more Pro Bowls after that?
I did. I made a couple more. I made 3 more.
I know you're... Mike, I know you're high on the Bucs. Am I supposed to just pretend this Giants game didn't happen when we were a picked-up flag away from Daniel Jones tying the game and perhaps winning the game in overtime? I feel like... the Bucs are favored. Everyone's high on the Bucs. I'm like, well, they almost lost to the lowly Giants. How do you think the Saints are looking at the Giants game and saying like, we can beat them now?
Yeah. First off, you can pretend that never happened. It's the past. It was one of those games where Brandon know this. We've been a part of games where you go into a stadium and you playing a team and you know you're supposed to beat them, and it becomes a little harder than what it was supposed to be. And you're trying hard and you're trying to do so much to get out of the stadium with a W, and then you end up making a lot of mistakes. The good thing is they got past that, and now moving forward, they can look forward to playing the New Orleans Saints, and it's not going to be an easy task. Not as easy as the Giants, but I think it's in their favor right now because they're at home, they add Antonio Brown, and the offense is clicking and the defense is playing well. So I just don't see the Saints winning this weekend. I know they beat them in week 1, but that was a completely different team than what they'll be facing on Sunday.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, let's play a little in or out now. As we mentioned, AB getting ready to make his debut for the Bucs in this game. If you'll recall, his debut for the Patriots in 2019, 4 catches, 56 yards, and that touchdown from Tom Brady. So, Brandon, you in or out on AB outperforming his last debut with Brady this Sunday with Brady?
I think I convinced myself to be all in on this. I think if he has more than 30 plays, I will even go out and say this: 100 yards, 1 touchdown, 7 catches. I'm all in on this.
I'm all in as well. I'm all in as well. The one thing I know about AB is that he gets in his
But contrary to what some people believe, I do listen when Brandon's talking, not about quarterbacks, but definitely about everything else regarding football. And he's convinced me that AB is going to be in fine condition. So I will take the over on yards, the over on receptions, but I think under on touchdowns, because I think Brady knows if Evans plays, he's going to have to keep Mike Evans happy somehow. So I think those goal line targets are going to be Evans and Gronkowski, but I think Antonio Brown could have a 100-yard game if he's